is there any reason why a company that rakes in millions and millions of dollars from buying up small businesses and closing them down shouldn't have to disclose their general practices to their investors?
I think it's at the heart of the Investment Advisors Act that they would share their fees and any conflicts with their investors.
Well, their fees and I presume the overall business model, the approach they're using. Is that right?
Yes, a description of their business model to their investors. They're limited partners usually in that case.
Okay. And then finally, let me ask about the tilted roulette tables on Wall Street. If someone's been cheated by a broker-dealer, hypothetically, for example, if Robinhood cheated individual investors, hypothetically, should that company be able to use forced arbitration clauses to avoid getting sued and held accountable?
I think, Senator, that while arbitration has its place, I think it's also important that investors, or in that case, customers, have an avenue to redress their claims in the courts.
Good. You know, as you know, the SEC has the power to require disclosures that will be helpful to the investing public, like climate risk disclosures and private equity practices. And Section 921 of the Dodd-Frank Act gives the SEC the authority to prohibit the use of forced arbitration by broker-dealers when it is, quote, in the public interest and for the protection of investors. In other words, here we go. In other words, the SEC has the tools to make the markets function better. So if you are confirmed, Mr. Gensler, will you commit to picking up those tools and using them to make the markets more honest and more transparent?
Senator, if confirmed, I look forward to looking at all of the authorities, not just this one, but all the authorities to help protect investors, promote the capital formation and the efficient markets that we talked about. And this is an important authority that was vested in the agency, and looking at the economic analysis, working with fellow commissioners. I think we should look at all the authorities.
Okay, so
I appreciate
that's
that. You know,
good. So let's cut it off right there. So if we were clowning on Gary Gensler, if he wasn't like on our side, we would definitely be confused about why there's a scary woman in the background, which a bunch of you have already pointed out. So there is just a woman with a mask right behind his head. That might be his guardian angel. Gensler also has thoughts about cryptocurrency. So
it's Gary Cohn and she.
So this is a quick video about his thoughts on the crypto market right here. So let's take a quick look as well.
The Bears, Blythe Masters talking at LME Week last week about how commodity companies can use blockchain. What does that tell you about the validity of this going forward?
Well, I think it's the technology, blockchain technology, which the public all know is underlying Bitcoin, has a real chance to be a catalyst for change in the world of finance. And that's because it moves data, and it also applies code, computer code, across a decentralized network. So I think that's why you see the likes of Sheila and Gary Cohn, and even I'm teaching at MIT blockchain technology, and the class is crowded. There's a lot of people that want to know about this technology.
So how do you regulate it?
Well, it's really important, I think, for this, if it gets broad adoption, if we really think the crypto world's going to be part of the future, it needs to come inside a public policy envelope. That means we need to guard against illicit activity. And yes, we need to protect investors. The crypto exchanges, big exchanges like Coinbase, need to really come within either SEC or the CFTC, the agency I once was honored to chair, inside of something to protect investors.
Let's distinguish two things. One is cryptocurrency and the other is blockchain. Because cryptocurrency may rely upon blockchain, but you can do things with blockchain you don't do with cryptocurrencies.
Right.
Do we need to regulate blockchain? Because we don't normally regulate computer programs. We don't regulate JavaScript.
David, I couldn't agree with you more. We should be technology neutral to promote innovation, but still in being technology neutral, I'm agreeing, not regulate the blockchain technology, but just ensure that its application, like cryptocurrency, investors are still protected. What does that mean? That we make sure there's not fraud and manipulation to the to the extent we can, in the Bitcoin markets.
At the same time, this is to those of us who are not computer programmers, very sophisticated. It seems to be moving very, very fast, migrating. Do we have the personnel within the federal government to actually be able to understand this enough to really know whether there's fraud going on or what's going on?
Well, it's always a challenge. That was true when the internet came along in the 1990s as well, and you're right. But I don't think that means we give up. We still should try and protect investors. And then there's more confidence in markets. And where there's confidence in markets, then more people can participate.
What are the likelihood of a cryptocurrency futures options market?
Well, we already have something called a Bitcoin future on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. There's even futures on some other contracts called Ether as well on overseas markets. Now, you're asking whether there be an option on that future. I think it's in our future, to excuse the expression, but it's somewhere in the next 6 or 18 months. I think it will be there.
How relevant will that be to then help form regulation? Like, what's the feedback loop for that?
Well, I think to the extent that the international regulators can assure for more confidence, that the viewers of this program can say, all right, I'm comfortable, I can do this, and big asset managers can invest, you'll see more potential adoption. But at the core, also the technology, David, blockchain technology, has to have a place. And right now it's more hype than reality. The largest uses are still quite small. And the technology, I think, is probably 3 years and maybe 5 to 10 years away from really being able to be scaled. Visa.
Interesting. So we already have defeated his milestone. This is from 2 years ago. So he is the pick for the SEC chair, and he is now entering his position today. So this is likely going to be something that we need to understand. What is his view on cryptocurrency, especially since he mentioned Coinbase should be somehow integrated into public sector? It is IPOing tomorrow, so it is becoming more and more of a public figure. And at the end of the day, the idea that he understands that cryptocurrency is going to be more integrated into society overall, but he expected it to be in 3 to 5 years instead of the 2 years that it really took to get cryptocurrency integrated into society. Right now, you see Tesla taking the very first step by allowing you to use cryptocurrency, Bitcoin in particular, to buy Tesla, and Apple is close behind. So I think he is incredibly intelligent in understanding that this is something to point out and predict, forecast. And with his mind, I want to be able to also cover the Dodd-Frank, his work on Dodd-Frank from the last financial crisis. So if we have time, we'll come back to this video, but I do want to be able to cover this.
But what about something else that matters to...
This video is going to be a little grainier, but just so you guys know, this is all the way back when he discussed Dodd-Frank back 9 years ago, because he worked extensively on getting Dodd-Frank up and running for the 2008 financial crisis.
To a lot of our trading and investing audience. The Commodities Futures Trading Commission has a big appetite for funding, as it should. Currently, the CFTC oversees a $40 trillion industry of swaps, derivatives, futures. But once the Dodd-Frank Act is fully implemented, the agency will include all the swaps markets, which, of course, is roughly 7 times the size of the futures market. It's huge. It's a big undertaking, and the chairman of the CFTC says he needs the cash and employees to take this on fully. So, how is the budget battle in Washington impacting regulation? Joining us now in a Fox Business exclusive, Gary Gensler, chairman of the CFTC, who actually just ran in here a little bit late because you've been stuck in meetings all day, actually for the past couple of days, about what to do if there's a government shutdown.
Did she just snitch on him?
Looking at it, I'm hopeful that Congress and the president come to something, because we close like everybody else. We won't be there to oversee the markets come Monday or Tuesday. We won't be able to put out our usual commitments and traders reports come next Friday if there's a shutdown.
Let me ask you what this actually really means.
Twin brother
you have
runs mutual fund.
employees. You might go down to just 25, if that, or will it be just you and a couple of staffers?
No, that's correct.
That's it.
They tell us the 5 commissioners can come to work plus about 25 people.
So that's it?
That's it.
When you say that you won't be able to police the markets, I mean, you're admitting this. Are we going to have a lot of speculators rushing in on Monday if there's a government shutdown and doing things they shouldn't be doing? I'm thinking, is it insider trading day?
Well, we'll have a very skeletal staff. Of course, the exchanges and the self-regulatory organizations are still there and doing what they're doing. Data will still be coming into our computers.
But no one's catching it,
we
Gary.
are able to secure our computers. So hopefully this is resolved quickly.
At a time when we're seeing oil at 30-month highs or 2.5-year highs, we haven't seen this price of $112, or and certainly Brent is skyrocketing too. But since September of 2008, gold on its 5th record day. What does this shutdown mean when this is a very crowded trade in commodities right now?
Well, I think that the Commodity Futures Trading Commission is a good investment for the American public because it helps ensure that these markets are free of fraud and manipulation and people have confidence in the market. So beyond the shutdown, we're making the case actually for more funding because we're going to take on, as you said, the swaps marketplace that's 7 times the size of what we currently oversee.
The Republicans don't like the Dodd-Frank bill, and they say while it may be well-intentioned, it's going to hurt business here in the United States. And you've got certain companies that use swaps and derivatives for just conducting business, whether it's a Caterpillar or Farmers.
Sure.
What do you say when there are others out there who say that the Republicans are intentionally trying to defund Dodd-Frank?
I say that this is a good investment for those farmers who want to lock in a price, for the companies that want to lock in interest rates or oil prices. These markets are how they manage their risks, but you need to have confidence in the marketplace. And with only 675 people, we do need more people.
Is government going to shut down, Gary?
Confidence in the marketplace. I noticed that on the crawler that he had a twin brother, so I was looking for that picture. So that's his twin brother, not face on, but there is Gary looking at us, real smiley like. So I hope that gave you a better sense of exactly what kind of person is stepping into the GME, the saga. The SEC chair is a person that, one, is pretty darn cool under pressure, right? Asking these hard-hitting questions about, there are people that don't like what you do. There are people that don't support your regulations. And he says, well, I think it's going to be good for them. Kind of like a person that wants the deal to work, even if some people might be opposed to like the aftermath of certain regulations. And in that sense, SEC might actually be getting some wings. We know that Austin has come on the show before. A. Tobit has not really thought highly of the SEC, but we do need to work with them in tangent with the 6 bullet points for Congress. So if you guys are still waiting around for that, Mason, Austin, and I, as well as a graphic designer, are going to jump on a call this week to talk more about this. Hope you guys are excited. Hope you guys realize that this is the man that is going to be running the GME saga in terms of the regulation side soon. And now that you have a more intimate view about him, make sure that if you want other people to find out about this video, press that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe, and we will see you in the money. Peace.